Translating English to equation. 5 minus 2 times the sum of a number and 3 is 11. What is the number? I highly recommend you read word problems at least twice. So let's try 5, and what are we doing? Subtracting 2. And we're subtracting 2 times the sum of. Watch out for those two words. Sum of usually implies that they're in parentheses, so be aware of that. But for now, let's just say sum of a number, so x plus, do remember x. It could change to any variable of your choice in many cases. Could be the first letter of your name or your last name, right? But in this case, I'll choose x to make it easy. So x plus, what is the next coming? So, and 3. There we go. So, and then it says is. Is means equals, right? Equals 11. There it is. So 5 minus 2 times the sum of, though, so we're adding x plus 3. Sum of number and 3, and is equals 11. So there's our expression. Do remember, we need parentheses though. So there's our parentheses. So there's our full statement now. 5 minus 2 times in parentheses x plus 3, close your parentheses, equals 11. And now let's try to solve, because it's asking us what is the number. So the question is, what is the x in this case? So to solve for x, notice that we can't simplify anything in the parentheses. X plus 3 can't be simplified. We have apples and oranges as a reference, right? A box of oranges plus 3 apples. Can't combine them. Okay, so OR operations, we can try to distribute, but that's going to be making our life more complex. We want easier, right? So to make it easier, since we're solving, it's probably easier to get rid of the 5. And do notice, we can't combine the 5 with the 2, because the 2 is next to a parentheses, which implies multiplication. So I got to multiply before I can add or subtract. So therefore, the easiest thing in this case, we can get rid of the negative 5. But you're still welcome to distribute the negative 2. That would just give you a few extra steps, but it still works. So subtracting 5 to make it easier for this case. 5 from both sides, agreed? 5 minus 5 cancels out. And now that leaves us with negative 2 times in parentheses, x plus 3. On the right side of our equal sign, 11 minus 5 gives us 6. Okay. So what do we get rid of next? What's the thing we can get rid of next? Well, we can't get rid of anything in the parentheses, so therefore let's try to get rid of the negative 2. It's multiplying with the parentheses, so opposite, divide. And what we do to one side, we must do to the other. Negative 2 divided by 2 cancels out. 6 divided by 2 gives us negative 3. So on the left side, all we have left is x plus 3. On the right side, negative 3. So now we get rid of the 3 from the left side, the one that's next to the x. It's positive. To get rid of the positive 3, opposite is subtract, right? So let's subtract the 3. What we do to one side, we must do to the other. So plus 3 minus 3 cancels out on the left side, and that gives us that x equals negative 3 minus 3. So think of it like borrowing. So if I borrow $3, and I borrow 3 more dollars, I borrowed a total of $6. So how would you say it's a negative because I borrowed them? In other words, I owe it. I don't have any more. I spent it, right? Silly me. Why should I be spending that much money, right? Okay. So in that case, that implies that that is our solution. X equals negative 6 for this particular case. So let's try with our graphing calculator as well. Real quick check. So graphing calculator, let's take a quick look. There it is, rough idea for a graphing calculator. And I'll do partially on the screen. So this is a T83 just for reference, but T84s work quite similarly. At the very bottom, push the on button at the very bottom left. Bottom left, turning on the calculator, there we go, starts blinking. If it's clean, there you go. Otherwise you can clear out on the button on the right side, right around their arrow keypads. It's the clear button. But we want to graph in this case. So go to y equals, very top left button, it says y equals. We're going to graph 2 different equations. The first equation will say 5 minus, and it's a subtraction sign, subtracted by 2. Open a parentheses. You'll see parentheses above your number keypad. And then x is your variable button next to your alpha button or near the second button. So x plus 3. Close your parentheses. Once again, parentheses above your number keypad. And there it is. That's our expression that we want to have for y1. Push down or hit enter. So now that means we want to write on the next equation y true 11. That's it. I'll just push down so you can see that it's there. And there we go. We want to go to zoom, middle top button, zoom, middle top button of your calculator, zoom. We want to do zoom standard, option number 6. Now let's see if we can see our graph. So there's one equation, but the other one we can't see. So let's try the zoom feature again, zoom button, and we want to do zoom out in this case. Option number 3 or push number 3 and it'll give you the zoom out. Hit enter. Notice it does not zoom out. It's waiting for you to tell it to zoom out. So I'll just hit enter to say zoom out there where it's at. And there it is. Now we can see where they intersect. So location where they're intersecting in this case. Well, we know that the particular x value is -6. So we could always hit trace, the trace button up at the top right, second button from the right is trace. And you can enter the 6. So it actually has to be a negative. Negative from the very bottom. Right next to your enter, there's a negative. So push the negative, push the 6, and now hit the enter button. It'll give you the 11 is your y value. That's what we had originally, right? It equals 11. That works. Just for reference, I'll move this out of the way. There we go. And let's try to choose a calculator to do a little more work than that. So let's push second. Trace gives you the option I calculate. So second and the trace button. It's at the top right, second from the right. Second trace gives you the option of calculate. If we want to do intersection, option number 5, go down to number 5 and hit enter. Or push the number 5 keypad and it'll automatically do it for you. So there it is. It'll give you something like this. And then I ask you, what is your first curve? At the top, you'll see y1. Yep, I have y1, and I'll say yes by hitting enter. That is my first equation. It asks me, second curve. Is this my second curve? At the top, I say y2. If I had a third equation, I push up or down to switch them. But right now, it's correct. y2 is the one I want as my second equation. Hit enter. Gives you a guess. You don't want to guess. You want exact value. So hit enter again. And now it gives you the solution. The intersection point is x equals -6 and y equals 11. There we go. It's just what we found previously via calculations, right? So it seems that this works. You can check with your calculator and also do it by hand, right?